Hi, fellow traders, what's happening? And I hope you guys got your week started out on the right foot. I'm telling you, my Monday was absolutely insane. Crazy, crazy day. We'll get into that here in a second, but I do want to share this with you real quick. Know that there's no progress or accomplishment without sacrifice. It's going to take hard work, sacrifice in order to get to where you want to go. I know for me, it started out really, really early. I knew that the $1,500 check I had, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to flip that without continuing to add some more to it. I knew that right off the bat. I learned that really quickly. So I had to start making sacrifices. I sacrificed doing some things that I really enjoyed doing, like going to lunch every day with the other teachers. We would go someplace different, and it was a really a, a nice wind down after the morning classes and prepare us for the afternoon. I mean, it was really good, but I had to make that sacrifice. I had to give it up. I had to start doing more side work. So that I had to sacrifice some free time to do me stuff and to spend some time with my family. I had waking up at 6 o'clock every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning to get work done, so that I could be done by 11, 12 o'clock, and then I could hang out with my family. But that was downtime that I could have had to do other things. Just had to make sacrifices, and it continues and it continues. And as you develop the ability to make these sacrifices, you're going to develop the character and that you need to help sustain you through your trading career. It is very, very important. So I wanted to share that with you real quick. But just make sure you understand that it's going to take some sacrifice in order to get to where you want to go. All right, so I've had several of you ask over and over and over again, am I ever going to offer free trials and all of that? Well, I got it worked out to where I could offer a couple, um, for a week. And I'm looking at just doing 1 week a month where you could come in and spend a week or a couple days, depending on when you sign up, and get to see what we do. I'm not an alert service. I don't alert trades. I don't trade live and so you could see me for you to follow me in trades. I do it to teach you so that you could learn how I find the stocks to trade, how I wait for the setup, what I'm looking for the setup, the trigger, and how I manage the trade. And more importantly, how I manage things when stuff doesn't go right. Now, am I perfect in that? No. Sometimes I have a meltdown, but that's just natural. What you do after that and how you deal with that is going to be key. And those are the things I want you to see and I want you to learn and I want you to take. Because I don't want you just to follow me in a trade. I want you to be waiting for that trigger, understanding where that trigger is, where you're going to put your stop, what your risk is going to be, what's going to tell you that trade's not going to work anymore, and where your profit targets are. You're going to have those for yourself. You're not going to worry about where I got mine. Now if you're in the learning phase, yeah, you're going to want to know where it is and why. But you shouldn't be trading at that point. You should just be learning. But you can come in and experience that because for me, it's all about education. So come in, spend the week. We have live class on um, Sundays and on Wednesdays. So you get to take a sneak peek into that and see what that's all about. But if you're interested, just email me, ed@averagejoetrader.com. I'll get you set up. If I get filled up, um, you'll be at the front of the list for the next one. All right. So today, now you remember, if you were with us yesterday in the morning session, yeah, I talked about this 300 level. Not I know that the 200 moving average is kind of right there, but that's not the key here. The key is this psychological $300 level, and you can see that it held on the big wash day on Thursday. Friday we dipped below it, but it got aggressively bought back up. Could not hold below it. This morning we gapped down. We opened with a gap down, and every time we open with a big gap down like that, I'm gonna look for value to the long side initially, and depending on what happens after the first 30 minutes or so, we'll see whether we're gonna have strength or it's gonna get weakness like we did here. So we had the big gap down day here on Thursday, and the market just kept selling. We never got that bounce that we typically get here. It was kind of the opposite. We opened on a gap down here, and it got aggressively bought back up. Um, so if you look at this tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be a gap up day. So if you're holding short overnight, I will pray for you. It might not end well for you, but I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. I don't know for sure. I'm just going to trade whatever the market gives me, whatever I see tomorrow morning. But the way it looks and the way things traded today, we're going to close this gap. And we should have some pretty good moves to the long side. We had some really good moves today, but unfortunately, we had some issues this morning with latency. And it wasn't just um, TD Ameritrade with Thinkorswim. There were other brokers that did experience some issues with the quotes being slow, some being behind, and that really affected me. We had several swing trades that triggered this morning that I couldn't get in because my charts were not working. And it was really, really frustrating. But I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to run and jump in. I could have chased both of those, but I was like, look, it's done. And then I had other issues that I was dealing with. Um, today I had a doctor's appointment. I know I had a mentor session at 12 during my lunch hour, and then I had a doctor's appointment. And I knew whatever I had to do it early because I wasn't going to be able to trade late. And I put all this pressure on myself to try and get everything done quick. And sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't. And today it just didn't work out. And what you have to do on the days that it doesn't work out is to make sure you manage your risk because you could continue in a downward spiral. So let's look at today. Um, this one was a later trade. I'm going to do BA last. That's the one that I did the most work on. But here was a perfect setup. Beautiful. Um, I went in a little bit too aggressive. Again, I'm trying to end my day early. This was after the mentor session, and I had like 30 minutes before I had to leave. And I'm trying to squeeze a quick trade in 30 minutes. I go in too aggressive, and of course I get stopped out. And eventually the stop makes the move. I was looking for the move through 240. And I mean, this isn't clean, it's not pretty, but had I been a little bit more conservative, I might have been able to get profit here get stopped out, and then catch the remount once we broke this channel. Um, I don't have the line here, but you can see if I drew a line right across here, this was the next channel. Once we broke it, we did pull back a little bit, but that wouldn't have stopped me out. And this thing just kept pushing up. Not clean, but if you'd have just got it and held it and not worried about it and held on to your technicals, would have been a really good trade. But I ended up getting stopped out and, sent packing. But look at what the daily chart looked like. This was incredible. Incredible. I mean, a really beautiful bullish move here, but too aggressive and ended up getting stopped out trying to squeeze something in. And that's one thing that you don't do because my morning started out crazy. I usually when I get up, I cut everything on in the room, pull the scans up around by 7:30, sometimes a little bit earlier, and then I look at getting some breakfast and just sitting down watching Squat on CNBC. And so I kind of did that today because I have nothing that I can do in the morning. Can't go work out. Can't, I don't take my son to school, which was another morning activity. I wake up and I'm stuck in the house. I mean, I can go walk around the neighborhood or do whatever, and that's probably what I need to start doing. But I sat on the couch and I fell asleep, and I didn't wake up till 9 o'clock. And you guys know at 8:30 is when I start building my watch list. So I'm waking up at 9 o'clock. I don't have a watch list. I'm half asleep. Um, so that should have spelled no trading for Ed today, especially me having to go to the doctor, and that's going to mess my afternoon up. I should have just sat on my butt, but I didn't. I decided to get in the game, and even with my platform acting really stupid, I still decided to trade, and um, and I can't blame it on the platform. This was just uh, this trade here just didn't work. I mean, bottom line, it did not work. Here was the opening range high, but I waited until we got over the 100 here. But if you see, I forgot to do something. I forgot to wait for a close and then a reclaim of this. Had I waited, I wouldn't have gotten in up here because we were too close. We would have been too close to the 200. Um, so this was just a bad entry. It was not a good entry and ended up taking a loss on it. This was a little bit too aggressive. This is a more aggressive entry. And today was not the day to be aggressive early like this, especially with the market chopping around the way it was. So I got out of that and I kind of sat and waited and waited and waited. And once we got through the 200 here, I waited, we closed, we confirmed. I'm looking for a move up to this 186.40. It failed, pulled all the way back, but it stopped me out. Pulled all the way back, and then I catch it on the bounce. Now, I was buying this when we broke the high here. But as soon as I clicked it, I do the market order. It was actually washing and it filled me at an even better price. So that was even better. And we pulled back to the 200 again and then ripped off. Got my profit here. Took some profit here at the next target and completely got spooked out here. Completely got spooked out. And I'm going to tell you why the hell I did this. Because I knew I was down. I've been stopped out 3 times. 3 times. I knew I was down. So, and where I figured it, I might have been down like 500 bucks. I was right on my max loss number. And so, I got in and I just wanted to lock in profit so that I could stay alive. And that's the only thing that went through my mind. And this is something that you really should not do. You should not have that in the back of your mind. Um, I should have been just stick to the plan and let this play out. And look, I would have made some pretty decent money. I did get back in once it confirmed over the the 90 day here and this 186.40 level. Got in first target and I let this come all the way back, break even. It stopped me out, but I had to go. And this is when I took ZM right after this trade. I tried to grab ZM to get a quick trade before I had to leave, and it just didn't work out. I wasn't focused. I was just trying to get everything done before I had to leave at 1, and totally wrong mindset. Totally wrong mindset. So starting off this Monday, in the hole, $454.86. Now this is not something we can't make up in one day. Um, but I really feel bad about how I approached today. Number one, I was late, and that was a red flag. I had to leave early today. That was a red flag, and I knew that I was going to try to force things, and that's exactly what happened. Like I said, some days it works out. I mean, I'm an experienced trader. I can handle, going outside of the zone every now and then. But the market is really unforgiving. And so sometimes there are things that I just, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to come out on the right end, the right side of things. And today was that day. That's all I can say. I take responsibility. We're gonna hit the reset button, and we're gonna go back after it tomorrow. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.